Welcome back to Mental Wellness Evolution. I'm Jeff, and thanks for being here. Today we're talking about the importance of preparation. Okay, so no matter what you're dealing with in your life, whether you're dealing with mental health issues, where you're on the sobriety path, you're trying to get sober, even in personal growth and that type of thing, being prepared for circumstances inside of our lives is going to be one of the most important things that we can have in our toolkit. Okay, we never know what's going to come up. The world is wildly unpredictable, and we need to have solutions at the ready to go for when emotional reactions come up within us, when something happens in the world, when we face crisis, when we're dealing with grief, mental health issues, and all those types of things. We can roll this back down to what we can call healthy coping skills. Okay, guys, and these are important for you to figure out what they are for you. They could be just about anything, but we want to keep them away from the self-destructive behavior. Now, if you're trying to quit drinking, this one's very obvious that you don't want to go in that direction. But when we're dealing with mental health issues, or even like the personal growth path and things like that, lots of times when we get triggered, we get activated, an event happens in the world, we have a bad day or a bad week at work, the first thing we tend to want to go to is towards those self-destructive patterns. Now, don't get me wrong, guys. Things like going out for some beers with your friends and those types of things, they can have their place within your reality, okay? And if that's a healthy thing for you to do once in a while, by all means do it within reason. If that's something that you're aware of within yourself and you know that you can get away with, and that's fine, go ahead. But if, like I said, you're trying to get sober and things like that, this isn't an option for you by any stretch of the imagination. So we need to have a plan. We need to be prepared. So when something comes up in our life, what am I going to do when that thing comes up? What are the plan? Where am I going to go? Because the problem is, guys, is when we get activated, we get very reactive. So we're going to react subconsciously. So we're going to go back to the things and the ways that we've always done it, unless we consciously choose to go into a new direction. Now, the more preparation you do for whatever it is you're trying to deal with, the better off you're going to be, because as soon as that thing happens, now you have a plan. You already know what you're going to do. You don't have to think. There's no thought processes involved with it, okay? I have a bad day at work. What am I going to do? Okay, well, I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to read a book. I'm going to go pet my cat. I'm going to go for a bike ride. I'm going to go for a drive. I'm going to, whatever that may look like for you. There's not any right or wrong way to go about doing this, guys. This is about your own personal experience and what you know is going to work for you in that specific circumstance. But like I said, if you don't have a plan and your go-to is always to go out and go drinking, well, as soon as those things come up within you, as soon as that fire gets ignited inside of you and you start to feel uncomfortable within yourself, and that's the way you've always done it, but you don't have a direction that you know you need to go, you're far more likely to fall back into your old patterns. You're far more likely to go back to the way that you've always done it. Again, guys, this is a subconscious aspect of ourselves. It's going to take us back to what's familiar. Always remember, the brain and subconscious mind love what's familiar to it, okay? So start developing these for yourself, whatever they may look like. If you've, say, sat down with a journal at the end of a day and you've identified some thought patterns that are causing you duress and grief and stress throughout the course of your day, you keep getting stuck, you keep getting fixated on the same things over and over and over again. What's going to be your plan for when that comes up for you? Because inevitably it's going to come up for you, especially if you're dealing with thoughts, because we tend to think the same thoughts every single day. Whatever you thought yesterday, you're more likely to get fixated and stuck on again today, unless you put a stop to it. So what is going to be your plan? Oh, okay, when that thought comes up within me, I'm going to ground myself. I'm going to do a few breathing techniques. I'm going to, tap a thing out on my legs, or I've got a song that I'm going to start to sing inside of my head. Or if I could remove myself from that circumstance or situation, that's what I'm going to do. Because as soon as we recognize that activation, now we're like, oh, okay, I know what to do right now. Instead, if we don't have a plan, now we get stuck. That's how we get stuck. This is why preparation is so important, guys. Regardless of what you're trying to do and get accomplished in your life, you need to be prepared for curveballs. You need to be standing at the plate. Life isn't just going to loft muffins down the middle of the strike zone for you. There's going to be curveballs. There's going to be things we have to adapt. We have to move. We have to be ready to go. So we need to find as many of these as we can. We need to be prepared. We need to have as many good skills, coping tools, things that we can go to at a moment's notice that we don't have to think about. We just start naturally doing it, okay? And as you get down the path, guys, you'll just start to naturally do these types of things. Instead of, I used to be a guy who drank every single day. So instead of drinking, I started going to the gym and I started meditating and I started exercising and reading and listening to podcasts and those types of things. So now when I have a bad day, the thought of actually going and having a drink, it doesn't even cross my mind. It's not even something that's an actual option for me. I know the things that work for me. I've messed around. And again, guys, you need to be willing to be adaptive with these skills too, because something might work for you for a little bit of time. And then you get 2-3 months down the road and maybe it's not working for you anymore. There's just like you might get really into reading, for example, for a while, and you're all about books and books and books, and after a time you find that, hey, it's not working as well as it used to be. Okay, switch it up. What can I add? What can I subtract? And constantly be looking for these things, guys. I think one of the best pieces of advice that I can give people when it comes to finding really good coping skills, outside of going within yourself and looking for them, is finding people who've gone through similar circumstances, through similar struggles, who've done some of the same things that you have and have gone down that path and gotten out the other side, and start taking things and trying them on. Try them on. It's like going to the store to buy a new sweater and you try on 10 different sweaters until you find the one that fits. Not everything is going to work for you. I always share my tools and skills and things that I utilize, but I can't promise that they're actually going to work for everybody else. Okay, they worked for me and I played around with it until I found what really worked for me. But you need to do the same for yourself. But start learning from other people. This has helped me so much along my path, is like getting on. There's so much access to information between YouTube and Instagram and TikTok and Facebook and books and just places that you can go to acquire knowledge, to acquire skills, to see what people actually do. Because when you've seen somebody actually utilize a particular skill and get some results with it, you look at that and you go, hey, that might work for me too. And you try it on and maybe it doesn't. Okay, well, let's try something else. But the more of these that you have, guys, the more that you have ready at the go, because you might had a bad day and okay, I need to exercise, and you go to the gym and you come back and you're still, you're needing to deal with some stuff. Okay, maybe I need to just go for a walk too, or maybe I need to go eat a good meal or cook something or play on my guitar or my piano or my viola or whatever you got. And that's what's going to eventually get you to that place. Okay, guys, but the more of these things we have at the ready, the better we're going to be. Because again, guys, life is wildly unpredictable. We never know what's going to happen. And when you're dealing, especially with mental health issues, and like if you're especially going into recovery and things like that, you need these things. You need them, especially in recovery, because like we're used to dealing with everything with alcohol. That becomes our escape. Well, now we don't have something to escape from anymore, or that's going to help us to kind of deal with those processes. Now, alcohol never actually helps you deal with the process, and that's an important thing to understand. But when we were used to doing that, I mean, I started, the first beers I had was end of grade 8, so I don't know, what is I, 13, 14. We used that for 20 some plus years, and all of a sudden you don't have that anymore. Well, what are you going to replace it with? You got to find those things that you can go to that get you back to where you want to be. And if you can find things that you love and you're passionate about, that makes this a million times easier, guys. Because like when I got off the booze and stuff for the first time, I was like, I found a real passion in just learning about the brain, the mind, the subconscious, how we work, how we operate, learning to be the observer, got really into spirituality and those types of things. And it was easy for me to go to those things because I wanted to go there. Like, you don't want these skills to be like something like you're like, oh, golly, I got to do that again. You don't want that, okay? You want things that are actually like, hey, I can enjoy doing this. And this is also the path to healing, guys. Like, everybody gets kind of stuck in this, oh, I have to heal after I have to heal. Real healing happens when you start living life and actually finding ways to enjoy it. And that comes with finding things that you actually love and really enjoy doing and making those your coping skills, so to speak. So if I have a bad day and I love to play the guitar, and I just sit down and play guitar for 2-3 hours and I get lost in a flow state and everything just kind of salts away, that's healing, guys. That's how it happens. But it's like knowing that, hey, I can pick up my guitar and play it. That's a great skill to have. That's a great tool to have in your kit. So anything that you can find that's like that you enjoy. Like, I love to exercise. Not everybody's going to love to exercise. I love to meditate. Not everybody's going to love to meditate. Find those things, guys. Just find them within you. Figure out what works for you. There's no right or wrong way to do this, but have as many of these things at the ready to go at a moment's notice, because I promise you, no matter what path you're on, you're going to need them, okay? Have a great day, guys.